Picture this. It's early 1971 at Pomona Raceway in California. The sun beats down on the asphalt as thousands of fans pack the stands for the NHRA Winternationals. Top fuel dragsters, those long, loud monsters that roar down the quarter mile in under 7 seconds, are lined up. But one car looks different. Really different. The engine sits way back behind the driver, not right in his face like every other car on the track. That car belonged to Don Big Daddy Garlits. And when he crossed the finish line that weekend, he didn't just win a race. He changed drag racing forever. This moment ranks as No. 3 on NHRA's official list of the top 75 moments in the organization's history, celebrated in 2026 for their big anniversary. Why so high? Because one terrible accident pushed a tough racer to invent something smarter, safer, and faster, and the whole sport followed. The dangerous old days. Back in the late 1960s, top fuel drag racing was wild and wonderful, but also scary. The cars used a slingshot design. The huge engine sat in front of the driver, with the cockpit pushed way back. It looked cool and went fast, but when things went wrong, they went really wrong. Engines, clutches, and transmissions were pushed to the limit. Sometimes they exploded. Drivers had no real protection from flying parts. Fans still talk about the bad wrecks that took lives or ended careers. Names like Mike Sorokin and John Mulligan are remembered with heavy hearts. Even legends like Don Prudhomme and Jim Nickel had close calls in a big final round at the 1970 Nationals when a clutch blew apart. Then came March 8, 1970, at Lyons Drag Strip in Southern California. Garlits was on the starting line in his Swamp Rat 13. The light turned green. The engine roared. And then, boom. A huge transmission explosion ripped the car apart and tore off half of Garlits' right foot. He was rushed to Pacific Coast Hospital in Long Beach. Doctors fought to save what was left. For most people, that would have been the end of racing. But not for Big Daddy. Ideas born in a hospital bed. Lying there in pain, Garlits didn't feel sorry for himself. He started thinking, what if the driver sat in front of the engine instead of behind it? Move all that dangerous power to the back. Give a driver space and safety. He sketched ideas on paper while his friends visited. One of those friends was fellow racer Tom McEwen. They even watched episodes of Star Trek together between talks about the new design. Garlits later said the goal was simple at first: stop another accident like his own. He wasn't trying to change the world, just stay alive and keep racing. By late 1970, the new car was built. They called it Swamp Rat 14. The engine was behind the driver. The cockpit sat way up front. It looked odd to everyone else. Some people laughed. Others shook their heads and said it would never work. Rear-engine cars have been tried before, but they always seemed slower or harder to handle. Garlits didn't care what they thought. He took the car out for its first real test at the NHRA Grand American event at Lyons in January 1971. He ran a blistering 6.60 second pass, just a hair off the track record. Then he fought all the way to the final, finishing second to Gary Cochran's old-style front-engine car. A week later at Orange County, same story. Another runner-up finish against Cochran. The laughs started to fade. People were watching now. The big test at Pomona. By the time the NHRA Winternationals rolled around in February 1971, the 32-car top fuel field was stacked with tough front-engine cars. Times were tight. Only 0.3 of a second separated the whole pack. Garlits qualified ninth with a mid-6.80 run. Not the quickest, but solid. The racing began. Round 1. Garlits took out Tommy Allen with a 6.85. Then something special happened. In the next 3 rounds, Garlits ran the fastest time each time. He posted a pair of 6.72s to beat John Nichols in the Spartan Charger and local favorite Carl Olson. In the semifinals, he clocked a 6.70 to send Jim Dunn packing. Now was the final round. His opponent, Kenny Safford in Larry Bauer's car, had clutch trouble after swapping parts between rounds. Safford couldn't make the call. Garlits had the track to himself. What did he do? He didn't just coast to an easy win. He lit up the tires, put on a show for the fans, and ran a solo 7.03. The crowd went wild. Big Daddy had done it. The first rear-engine top fuel win in NHRA history. From one win to a whole new era. The victory didn't stop there. Garlits loaded up the Swamp Rat 14 and drove east to win the NHRA Winternationals. Then he headed back west and took the famous March Me Too. The message was clear. This new design wasn't a fluke. Within 2 years, every serious top fuel team in the country had switched to rear-engine cars. No more front-engine slingshots at the top level. The new layout was safer for drivers and actually faster on the track. It let teams push harder without as much fear. Today, more than 55 years later, every top fuel dragster still uses the basic idea Garlits created in that hospital bed. The driver sits up front, the engine roars behind, and giant wings and tires help keep everything glued to the ground. Millions of fans have watched these cars set records and put on incredible shows, all because one man turned his pain into progress. Garlits himself became a bigger legend than ever. People call stories like this mythical for a reason. One bad day at Lions could have ended his career. Instead, it pushed him to save lives and lift the entire sport. Why this moment still matters. Drag racing has always been about speed, courage, and clever ideas. But Garlits' 1971 Winternationals reminds us of something deeper. It shows how one person facing hardship can look at a problem and say, there has to be a better way. The old front-engine cars were exciting, but they came with too high a price. The rear-engine design proved you could have thrills without throwing away safety. It let the class grow stronger, faster, and, most importantly, safer for generations of drivers who came after. So next time you watch a top fuel car blast down the strip with the driver safely ahead of that screaming engine, remember the man who made it happen. Don Garlits didn't just win a race in 1971. He gave the sport a future. And that, more than anything, is why NHRA placed this story at number 3 on their all-time list. It's not just about one victory. It's about the day drag racing grew up. Big Daddy turned tragedy into triumph. And the roar you hear at the track today is still echoing that moment.